that's the theme song. Well, hello, friends out there in actors and ancestors land, and welcome to our 5th episode. Very excited to have another one of my friends, always my friends. One day I'm going to get some of my enemies and turn them into friends, but right now this is an easy sell. Don't let my guests babyface fool you. They have already a lifetime of experience acting, but just recently, of course, had an incredible breakout role in True Detective, another True Detective, a friend of mine. Can I get you actually to introduce yourself, your name and your land, who claims you, where you're from?
Yeah. Hiwaniwashte, Kaimatiapi, Isabella Star LaBlanc. Hi, my name is Isabella Star LaBlanc. I'm Sisituan Wapetuan, Dakota, born and raised in Minnesota, Makoche, in the state of Minnesota.
Yeah. Oh, Minnesota.
Minnesota. Oh, yeah, you betcha.
Oh, the only place that sounds more Canadian than Canada. Minnesota.
I do feel very at home talking with you. I'm like, oh yeah, these are relatives. We speak the same language.
That's right. Yeah. We're allies, Cree and Dakota. Why not? We historically
Exactly.
we got along. Yeah. And you're down there right now. You're joining us from your home.
Yeah, from Minneapolis.
Hey, well, welcome. I'm
Hey.
still here in Vancouver, of course. So we're just chilling. I saw you briefly at the red carpet event, and we didn't get a chance to hang out too much there. I mean, there's so much going on. It's wild.
It's craziness. Yeah, it's insanity.
I know. Like we got to hang out more behind the scenes than on. Obviously, I mean, you weren't old enough to hang out at Cavik's joint in the series.
Exactly. No, Leah's not having any of the homebrew.
Yeah. Well, we did get into some fun drinks at the hotel bar a few times. That was good.
Exactly.
Yep.
That was great. It was such a good group. I just have so many good memories of us.
I know.
Out in Reykjavik on the town.
I know, the city of cats, Reykjavik. One day I'll go back.
Exactly.
But speaking of the red carpet, you look fantastic. Great job.
Thank you.
Can you give us just the history of some of the beadwork that you had? Beautiful. I commented on it when we were hanging out there, but can you tell? Because obviously these people can't see.
Exactly. They can't see any of it, so I can describe it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was so nervous. It was my first red carpet, and I was like, I don't know what you wear. I don't know what you're supposed to do, what the rules are. But I was like, okay, so I'll just like go back to basics for me, which growing up, any special occasion is you wear your beadwork or you get new beadwork, you get gifted a new pair of earrings, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it felt right to, get some new beadwork done. And then I also wanted to like honor my character, to honor Leah. And so I was like, okay, let's try to find something that feels like it would be something that Leah would do. And I think she would like use the moment to say something.
Yeah.
So I worked with my friend Ruby, who's a fellow Dakota person from out here in Minnesota. And we came up with this idea to do these barrettes that said, one side said protect women and one side said protect water. And it just felt so right because it felt like such an easy way for me to like show up and say what I wanted to say kind of without having to say anything.
Yeah.
And also to like represent like another Dakota artist. And so, yeah, it felt like the right thing for me to do for that first red carpet.
Yeah. I know and also color scheme on point as well. You had that icy blue look to it.
Exactly. We wanted to get like a little Arctic feel. So she did some little like crystals and some blues and grays. So it felt of the moment, matched that crazy like ice True Detective sculpture that was on the red carpet.
Yeah, that's
wild.
That was wild. It was hilarious at the end of the after party night too. All of these ice sculptures that they had everywhere were melting and sliding off of tables and smashing. Like,
did you see them going around with the turkey basters?
No, what?
Yeah. There was one person that was going around and like turkey basting the melted water out of the bowls. It was amazing. I was like obsessed with it.
This is it's a whole other world, isn't it? Yeah,
Is.
and I feel like you and I were fairly similar. Like, I mean, we both have theater backgrounds, and
Yep,
this was a huge shift, I think, for both of us,
exactly.
right? Like, I mean, there's a lot to get into. I want to know about your journey and everything, but while we're
Mhm.
still on the True Detective train here, what was that like? Could you just walk me through your first day of working with Jodie? Because that's got to be wild to come out. I know that you got that call, and a week later you were on a plane and you're going to be with
Yeah.
Jodie. Like that's wild to
It
me.
was it was all insanity, and, like, I mean, I even remember when I, like, first got the audition, Jodie Foster, like, stepdaughter? Have they gotten me confused with someone else? Like, they want me to audition for this? It all just felt so not what I would have expected and not a role that I would have expected to been offered. So it was all kind of surreal and wild and fast paced. But I feel lucky that actually my first time working with Jodie was in like table work and not actually on set. It was before we started shooting, which I'm very grateful for because, I got to get the nerves out then, I think,
Mhm.
before there was like a camera in front of us. Um, but it was such a lovely experience because again, there's so much nerves, there's so much of like, oh, like am I gonna get there and they're gonna recast me, or am I gonna be horrible and they're gonna hate everything? Is Jodie gonna hate everything I do? And then you get in there and you're just, like, worrying if, like, Jodie's gonna hate everything that I do, but then you get in the room and Jodie was so lovely, Issa, our director showrunner, was incredible, and so it felt like immediately I was in this really supportive space, and I felt like I could really settle in and do the work, and ultimately, I felt like, I was just learning so much from them that yeah, the nerves kinda just disappeared, and then the really fun work got to kinda fill in.
Issa is, I guess, out of the norm in terms of a lot of directors. I loved working with her. I found her very collaborative. She wanted to get input, and we were improving a bit. And not everyone does that kind of thing. Did she just like take all of your nerves away and encourage you as an artist to sort of explore?
Absolutely. I think, yeah, she's such an incredible director, and I think she's really like an actor's director too, in that sometimes you'll, like, have a director that has, like, a really clear big picture vision, and so then they're just like, "Okay, do what you want in there," and they don't quite have enough guidance, or sometimes you have a director that's too micromanaging. And it feels like Issa sits in that beautiful pocket. She really knows what she wants from you, but she's also going to give you enough room to discover what you need to discover. She's not going to like micromanage every second of what you're doing. And yeah, and I also just really felt like on a bigger scale that I felt like she had really high expectations for me. And something that I've felt in my career is sometimes I feel like just because I kind of I don't know, I know how to act, I know how to break
Mhm.
down a script, that I get into the room and people are like, "Oh, it's like, she can do that, that's fine." And I felt like as like a native actor that sometimes there's this weird low expectations and, I really appreciated that Lisa had a pretty high standard for me, and so the whole time I was just, like, trying to rise to her occasion, and I felt like it pushed me out of my comfort zone, it pushed me to get better,
Mhm.
and I really appreciated that as she saw potential in
Yeah.
me and not just kind of yeah, being happy that I showed
I
up.
know. I felt that too. She had a very concise way of saying the right thing. I mean, I've said it before, but her very first directing note that she gave me when we were our very first take, and of course mine was my sex scene. It was my very first.
That was your
That was our
first
very
scene?
first scene that
Mm,
we got. Yeah,
no
that we're on
way.
camera and we're there and we went for it. And her very first note to me was, "JD, that was shit."
I
uh,
do love that about her.
yeah,
Yeah, there were so many times she'd come in and she'd be like, "That wasn't your best."
yeah,
And
yeah.
I'd be like, "Yep, yep,
You
I know, I
you
know.
can do better than that.
You
Yeah.
can do
And then of
better than
course
that."
I amped it up and she was like, "Perfect. That's exactly what we need." Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're out in Minnesota right now and you're
Mhm.
staying there. This is a
Yeah.
big shift. Like your career's really turning a corner. What would it take? Because a lot of people listening, they think you have to move. If you're going to be an actor, you have to go to a big a big hub somewhere, what would it take for you to leave your home?
Yeah, that's a great question. I love that one because I feel like, yeah, I've spent so much of my career kind of wobbling back and forth about like, do I need to be in one of the big cities on the coast?
Mhm.
Do I need to be in LA? Do I need to be in New York? Can I be in Minnesota? And I feel really lucky that early on I got a manager who really encouraged me to just be wherever made me happiest. She really believed that in order for it to be worth it, any of this to be worth it, like I had to be somewhere that I felt settled, and that if I was just out in LA hustling, that that doesn't actually serve you. And I really found that to be true, and that not only is Minneapolis, where I'm from, a really great theater city. So when I come back here, I get to do plays. I get to like kind of cultivate myself as an actor by doing and by being on stage. But it's also like my ancestral homeland.
Yeah.
It's where my people are from. It's where my people are. There's, all my family is here. It's where I grew up going to powwows. And I feel like a big part of me would be missing if I was somewhere where I kind of didn't have that grounding. So I think it would take a lot for me to permanently relocate, but I have been like very grateful that in my career I've gotten to like spend good chunks of time elsewhere when I'm working. I was in LA for a while, I was in Atlanta for a while. Obviously, we were in Iceland for a bit, and I really appreciate those moments to kind of, be somewhere else and find a new routine in a new place. But it always feels really good to come back here and to reground myself in community and culture and land. And I feel like that's kind of allowed me to like do the work that I do in a way that feels good to me.
What was it like changing into an actor? Like, what made you pursue this? And did you think that it was going to branch out into film the way that it has?
Yeah, I always say that I feel like I kind of stumbled into acting because I started when I was a kid, and I just started doing theater here where I grew up, since it's like a big theater town. We have a lot of really great children's theaters around. So I just kind of started doing it, which I think was a surprise to my family because I was like a very shy, quiet kid. And so it wasn't necessarily like what anyone saw coming. But yeah, so I just started doing theater, and then somewhere along the way when I was, I don't know, 17 or 18, I was like, I don't want to stop. I had never really thought about it as a career or as a job, but I just loved it so much that I kept doing it. And then I was like, well, I don't want to stop. I don't want to pivot into something else. I kind of want to continue this. So I kind of just kept going and kept pursuing it. And I was always clear with myself that I didn't really care what version of acting I was doing. There wasn't like an end goal. It wasn't like, oh, I want to get to Broadway or I want to get on TV. It was like kind of any way I can keep doing this, I will. And so for a while that was regional theater for me. It was audiobooks. It was kind of the whole gamut, and auditioning for film and TV along the
Hmm.
way. And so it's felt kind of nice that like, yeah, the journey has looked different every step of the way, but like that core of getting to be an actor has remained the same. And I feel really lucky that it's, yeah, somehow landed me here.
Yeah, yeah, it's insane, isn't it? Were you like me? Like I had to work a variety of these extra Joe jobs, not even related to acting at all. It was heavy labor and things like that, dishwashing, anything that I could,
Mhm.
just so that I could keep that community theater thing open before someone was like, "Go for it, dude. What do you did
Exactly.
yeah?"
Yeah, no, I was the same. I right out of high school, I worked at a small indie native bookstore here in Minneapolis. It's actually the Ojibwe author Louise Erdrich owns this bookstore. And so I was just like a little bookshop girl, like selling people books and like organizing books. And I feel like so lucky for that time because I felt like it was really good for me to kind of, yeah, have the normal job life. I feel like that kind of informed me as an
Mhm.
artist. There were so many times that I was like, "Oh, I wish I could just be like work like I wish I could get a big job and my whole life would change right now." And it's very clear to me looking back that that wouldn't have been best, that instead like the little baby steps along the way were actually like the most helpful and prepared me to get to the big opportunities. But it also felt good because here I was, like, working in a bookshop surrounded by stories. I was reading a lot. I was meeting authors. I was meeting, like, other storytellers, and so I felt like that work also really informed me as an artist too, and just, like, kind of being immersed in story, and I feel grateful for that.
Oh, that's, yeah. I really appreciate having lived a life before.
Yeah.
It rounds you out, I think. And that comes in through the art, like you were saying. I can't remember which job it was that was the most stressful, but I swear that they carry through. Um, um, there's something that you had said. It was about being Indigenous. I remember in an interview, you
Mhm.
said you felt too native for the city and too city for the res. Could you expand on
Yeah.
that, what that means?
Yeah, so I'm the youngest of 8 siblings.
Wow.
And pretty much all my other siblings grew up on the reservation, either in Sisseton or Lower Sioux, which is around here. Um, and I was the little sister that grew up in the city. And so there was always like a part of me that knew that my journey looked so
Mm.
different from them and from the rest of my family who lived on reservation. And I knew that like there were so many things I had access to growing up in the city that they didn't. And so there's like a gratitude from that. But there's also like this proximity to whiteness and to not nativeness, where I was spending so much of my early years surrounded by people that didn't come from where I came from. And I do feel very lucky that here in Minnesota, we have like a really strong urban native population. So a lot of my schooling was at an American Indian magnet school. I had, a lot of powwows and cultural events in town and a community that's supported me and continues to, that I feel very grateful for. But there was so much time where I wasn't in community and so many years of school where I was the only Native kid. And so much of my theater experience was being the only Native kid. So there was always this feeling of like from a very young age kind of navigating two worlds at once and trying to figure out like where I fit in all of it, which was, a journey, but I think it served me well and I feel grateful for the people along the way that were really uplifting me and kind of pushing me along.
Yeah. Have you found that having one foot in and one foot out has helped you create more believable characters in a way of being able to ride the line?
Absolutely. I feel like that's such a great way to say it. And that I do feel like, yeah, when you grow up kinda navigating worlds, you kinda you learn how to read people, you learn how to read situations, and I feel like that definitely transfers into my work and that, like, yeah, I can kinda figure out how to read a room in a way and figure out how I need to show up in it.
Oh yeah. What was your favorite memory about going to powwows? By the way, is it the Indian tacos or is it the fry bread? It's a very divisive line.
Ooh, yeah, you're trying to get me canceled. How do I answer? I mean, I'd say probably Indian taco.
Wow.
I think I'm an Indian taco girl. I mean, I'll never say no to a piece of fry bread, but if I have the option, I'll go for like the full balanced meal of it,
Yeah.
I guess.
I'm mixing myself, and we just recently had Christmas at my white side of the family's family,
Uh-huh.
on my dad's side, and I just got them all
Yeah.
around the fire, and we made fire bannock, right? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And so it felt great because you're sharing culture in a way. And my little nephews are very white, but they're just like they're in love. They're like, Uncle JD, you gonna make some more bannock, please? Something like that.
I love bannock.
Yeah, I'm a, I'm I'm a big bannock junkie, which is hard. It's hard because as a native person, you got to try and stay in shape, and bannock is not.
Exactly, exactly. There are a lot of forces working against us.
Yeah. Gosh, I miss being at home because I'm out here in Vancouver, and yeah,
Yeah.
so I think it's beautiful that you are staying where you are and you stay with your people, because not everybody has that, but at least now things are changing in that way.
Yeah,
You don't have to, people out there listening, you don't have to leave anymore. Not that you ever did, but now
exactly.
it's
But I do know that, like, yeah, I have so many friends that, like, yeah, it really served their journey to head out and to, like, kinda dive in LA or New York, and I feel, like, grateful that, yeah, that kind of the way we do this job is so personal, that there's kinda no one way to do
Mhm.
it, and I think that's been so much of what I've learned on my journey is, like, kind of just letting go of the pressure of, okay, well, this is the way it needs to happen. This is the way it's going to happen for me is I have to do this.
Right.
And instead being like, no, I get to do it however works best for me. Everyone gets to do that. And that ultimately serves us
Right.
best.
That is so true. There is no right or wrong way to become an actor. What this doing this podcast I'm trying to show is, and it's taught me a lot too, is that there's so many paths, and
Yeah.
they all just lead to where we are, and you never know when it's going to happen. But what experiences being there where you are has taught you to be a better actor? What has worked for you specifically?
For me, it's really been the balance of theater and on camera, and that I feel like I feel the most dexterous as an actor when I've been doing both. That if I like I'm doing work on stage, I feel like my work on camera is a little fuller and richer and broader. And when I'm doing work on camera, my work on stage is like a little quieter and more nuanced and grounded. And so I really appreciate that, like, getting to come home, be here, do a play, or even just do like a new play workshop, like not even like a full production. But just getting to like work in theater has like, yeah, it serves me so well
Hmm.
whenever I do a self-tape or whenever I'm on set. I feel like it really just they support each other.
Yeah, I find when I'm doing some film work and I jump back into theater, the first thing in the first rehearsals that'll happen is like, JD, the back. Think of the people in the back. You can't
Because yeah,
you can't play it right here. Like right.
play to the plaque, play to the back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
There was a moment on True Detective, and this must have been like halfway through our shoot, where I was like doing a scene where I had to be like nervous. And then Issa, she was like, "Here, Izzy, come over here. Like, let's just chat for a second." She's like, "I know you do theater." She's like, "You don't have to show us everything." She was like, "You can just be sometimes." And I was like, "Oh, you're so right." And so then I was like, "I'm just gonna be." And it is amazing that it's such a shift
Mhm.
between the two.
Yeah, I that's amazing that she can read people that way. JD, that was shit, and that was enough for me. And I was like, right,
You can do better.
got it. Got it. Yeah. If True Detective hadn't happened, what would your career look like right now? Like, I mean, if this wasn't on the cards at all, what would you be doing?
I think it's funny to actually think about that. I
Mhm.
don't know if I had thought about that too much. I had a couple plays on the agenda, that I would have done. I would have done my first Shakespeare show if I hadn't
Mhm.
done True Detective. But I think, I still would have been auditioning kind of all the time. I'm always self-taping from Minnesota for film and TV, and so, yeah, I've kind of gotten used to that routine, and I think I probably would have still been in it as trying to do theater as much as I could and also trying to audition for any project that came up.
Yeah. Any big thing that we can actually talk about kind of come down the pipe since True Detective?
Not really. It's been so weird because pretty much we wrapped in
Hmm.
April. I came home, and then weeks later, the writer's strike started, and then the actor's strike was, like, immediately after that. So pretty much since True Detective, I was on strike and I couldn't audition. It's the longest I've gone without auditioning. And it just feels like now in January is when things are like kind of coming back and kind of coming back to normal. So I'm excited for, what what will come, but as of right now, all TBD.
Yeah. I got extremely lucky. I had I signed up to do some theater, and my agent, of course, was like, don't. What are you doing?
Don't do
This is
that.
yeah, but I'm like, it's something that's like you were saying, it's part of us. We need to do both,
Yeah.
especially if we have our background of this is where we cut our teeth. This is how we learn.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then all the strikes started to happen, and I was right in the middle. I was like, oh, thank goodness,
Looks good.
I'm
Yeah.
doing something. Yeah.
Exactly.
Otherwise, I would have been just not knowing what to do. Um,
Exactly. You're like sitting there twiddling your thumbs, waiting for this thing to come out. Well, and that's like the thing that's so different about film and theater too, is when you do a play, like you're in the room when it's happening. You're there with the audience as they're seeing it, and there's kind of this completion to it. Whereas when we do a TV show, we go and film it and do our job. And then it's months until anyone sees it. It's such a weird
or
delayed gratification
years,
thing.
even. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's
I
wild.
know. I did The Last Airbender. That took, well, we thought it was going to be out already, but it's been like 2
Yeah.
years, and they just had so much special effects editing and things to do. And so, phew, like, yeah, people
Yes,
people don't realize the times that go on, and everyone's growing up, and yeah, life
exactly.
changes. And
Yes.
now maybe you can't play 16. Maybe you have to play 17 now.
Exactly. I mean, I thought that I was already past my teen years, but yeah, I think maybe I'll push to 18 now. Maybe we'll stay there.
What's amazing is that I managed to sink into, because we're only 3 episodes in at the time of
Uh-huh.
this recording of our little interview
Yeah.
here. And watching it and watching you come on, I was not distracted at all. Like a lot of times you watch these shows with older actors and
Yeah.
you're like, man, you're 45. You're not in high school. What's going on? Like this is look at these crow's feet everywhere. But the only time I got distracted, of course, was when I came on screen. I'm like, oh no, it's me again.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was right in the story, and it works. You did it so well, is what I'm trying to say. Great
I
job.
so appreciate that because yeah, there is always this worry of like, am I pulling this off?
Yeah.
But I felt really grateful that I don't know. I kind of felt like on set, people did think that I was like 17 years old, and they would often refer to me as the kid. They're like, "Yeah, we have the kid ready. Like, she's ready to come on. The kid's in wardrobe right now." So I was like, okay, as long as I can like fool the crew
Yeah.
that I am actually 17 years old, then hopefully I can also fool an audience.
Yeah, exactly. That was oh man, I am so excited for the rest of the season coming out. Yeah, because who knows where this will take.
Yeah,
I
it's
always
pretty
I don't know
wild.
about you. I always think every job, because eventually I'll be right, but every job is the last one, you know?
Oh, yes.
And so I just treasure every moment that we get. Yeah, I'm trying to stay humble that way, I guess. Trying to stay true to the teachings.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, it is just so true that I think that is like an actor instinct. But I feel like, yeah, it's always a good way to be is like not take it for granted and kind of soak it in. And so, yeah, I feel the same way that I'm like, well, this was my last job. I know that there's a lot of actors who go their whole life without getting an opportunity like this. And so, I have to be grateful no matter what. But I have to say, Joel, you are so good on the show. You are like such a breath of fresh air and like such an intense like world
Uh,
that like every time you come on, I'm like, oh yes. Like comic, we love
uh,
him. He's so sweet. He's so lovely. It's just like, yeah, you're so fabulous.
okay, okay. If you could see me out there, guys, I'm blushing right now. Thank you. That is very, very, very sweet of you to say. Yeah, what advice would you have for any of young upcoming artists? What do you think that they need to be armed with for this type of career?
I mean, when I look back on my journey and really like the most important things to me, it was like having mentors and having peers too. And I think, and that's why I like am so excited by this podcast you're doing is like, I feel like in a way you're like building in mentors and peers and making it accessible because yeah, it is like, again, there's no right way to do this. But if you like surround yourself by people who are doing it or who have done it and who support you, you like really are able to like build yourself up. And I think that's very Indigenous too. You know, we're tribal people. We always kind of have to build support systems around ourselves. And so for me, having older Indigenous actors who were there to answer my questions, and now having Indigenous actors that are my peers that I've worked with that I can kind of touch base with and be like, hey, like, what do you think about this? How should I navigate this? It's really invaluable to have other people to do it alongside you. And then you also, you know, there's so many no's in this industry that the more people you have and that you can like win when they win makes a huge difference. And I've found that like, yeah, having that community has been a game changer for me.
Well said. And I do agree 100% with that. The success of our people. That's what we're going
Yes.
for, guys. Because, yeah, selfishness doesn't have any place with us.
It's too lonely to be selfish.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't understand those folks that are just in it to win it for themselves. But yeah,
Exactly.
you're a good people. You're a good people.
You too. You too. Good people.
Very good people. I want to just roll out the red carpet.
Mhm.
So this is your opportunity now to give a shout out to anybody, any project, any people out there that's really inspiring you or that you feel deserve recognition.
Oh, I love that. One thing that I've been thinking a lot recently as True Detective is airing is my friend Shandine Tong, who's an incredible director. She's Danae. She had a documentary that came out and did the circuit last year called Long Line of Ladies. She co-directed it with a woman named Reika Zaitabshi, and it's this incredible documentary about a young girl from California from the Karuk tribe and her coming of age ceremony. And I've been thinking about it so much while watching True Detective because I feel like it's a really lovely companion piece to my character Leah's story since she's coming of age and she's like kind of reclaiming and revitalizing culture and so that specific piece I've been thinking about and really Shandine as a filmmaker I think you know she's going to be the one in the next couple of years that is going to be doing the really incredible exciting new work in film. So I say she's the one I want to shout out, and I want to shout out Long Line of Ladies. You can Google it and you can find it. New York Times has it on Vimeo.
Hey, all right. That was my next question. Where are we going to find this? So go look at it. Vimeo, guys. Vimeo, that Long Line of Ladies. Okay. Gosh, this has been so nice.
This has been so
I
lovely.
cannot wait to see more of you because, and I'm sure that it's coming. I'm sure it's coming. You're
Let's hope.
gangbusters here on this. So still spoiler free because we're only 3 episodes in, but I don't know how you felt, but I'm not lying. I cried. I read that final episode on the scripts. I
was totally undone. It's like, yeah, it'll wreck you.
It'll wreck you. In Reykjavik.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we're Womp womp. All right. Well, this is it for us. I appreciate this quick little jump in and out. You are an absolute pleasure, absolute star, LeBlanc.
Oh, I see what you did there.
You know, we're a little bit of the same cloth here because I'm Joel D. Montgrand, my French name with being Indigenous man, and LeBlanc. Real quick, those ancestors, where did that come from, LeBlanc?
French Canadian.
French Canadian, there we are.
French Canadian coming down to Minnesota to trade and then marrying into the tribes. This was so fabulous. I loved this chat. It felt just fun and chill, and I loved what we covered. And I'm so excited for Avatar. I cannot wait. I just saw the trailer and it looks incredible.
Yeah. I mean, not to be too nerdy, but it looks pretty dope.
It looks like incredible.
Yeah. Okay.
You're having a wild year.
Yes, we'll see. You know, you know what? Also, this is an important lesson for those people out there. I'm still a broke, struggling actor. Like, you know, it's not all this. It's a life. It's a life that you commit to, and it's not always easy. You're not in it for financial gain. So unless you become a superstar, then boom,
Exactly.
Boom, boom, boom.
Then it's easy going.
It's easy going. We do it for love. We do
Maybe
it for
one day we'll experience that.
Yeah. I look forward to you just like having a whole bead line and making a whole bunch of stuff.
Exactly. Retiring early.
Great. Your bead factory next to my Bannock factory. We'll make it happen.
Exactly.
Hey.
Exactly.
All right, Izzy. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. This was awesome.
Actors and Ancestors was created, hosted, and produced by me and edited by Daniela Barreto. Actors and Ancestors is entirely self-funded, so if you are feeling generous, please go to actorsandancestors.com. There's a little donation web button thing there, and it'll help me with all the costs of keeping this show going. Thank you so much, Dinige. Egose.